So now I'll go over and define each stage. In pre-contemplation, it's exactly what it says. People are not considering change and do not intend to change behaviors in the foreseeable future. So, in other words, I smoke and I intend to keep smoking and I don't have any plan to stop smoking. That puts me in pre-contemplation. People may be partly or completely unaware that a problem exists. They may be unwilling or too discouraged to change their behavior. They are not convinced that their behavior is problematic or risky, or they have not connected negative consequences to their behavior, or they don't feel like changing their behavior is going to modify their risk. So, for example, I have a friend who smokes who believes that they're going to die whenever they're going to die, irrespective of whether or not they stop smoking or continue smoking. And they've believed that for the last 20 years. So a person like that may be able to repeat the data about smoking and health, but doesn't really believe it applies to them. In contemplation, individuals are still engaging in the problem behavior, but are considering the possibility of change. So this is, I smoke, but I'm thinking about changing my smoking in the near future. At this point, they may seek relevant information, evaluate their behavior, or seek help to support the possibility of changing. And at this stage, we're introduced to the concept of ambivalence. Ambivalence means that the person wants to change, but they also want to stay the same. So there are two forces operating in the person. So when we're working with people, we need to look for these signs of ambivalence, because it's the ambivalence that's going to get in the way of their change. It is not uncommon for individuals to remain in the contemplation stage for years, vacillating between wanting and not wanting to change. Preparation. When an individual perceives that the envisioned advantages of change and adverse consequences of behavior outweigh any positive features of continuing the behavior and maintaining the status quo, the decisional balance tips in favor of change. Once the instigation to change occurs, an individual enters the preparation stage, during which commitment is strengthened. Preparation entails more specific planning for change, such as making choices about whether treatment is needed, and if so, what kind. Then the action stage. Individuals in the action stage choose a strategy for change and begin to pursue it. At this stage, clients are actively modifying their habits and their environment. Maintenance. During the maintenance phase, efforts are made to sustain the gains achieved during the action phase. Maintenance is the stage at which people work to sustain behavior and prevent recurrence of prior patterns. Extra precautions may be necessary to keep from reverting to problematic behaviors. Individuals learn how to detect and guard against dangerous situations and other triggers that may cause them to revert to prior patterns. So notice that not all of these are applicable if your goal is a one-time change, like deciding to get screened for HIV once or deciding to take a vaccine once. Then relapse. Recurrence, or often referred to as relapse, is the event that triggers the individual's return to earlier stages of change and recycling through the process again. Most people do not immediately sustain the new changes they are attempting to make. So within this model, we consider relapse to be a normal part of change. So if we start an exercise routine and then slip back and are sedentary for a while and we restart again, we call that relapse, but we also say that that's what most people usually do. Relapse experiences contribute to information that can facilitate or hinder subsequent progression. So, okay, well, what was it that happened that made you stop exercising? Or pick up smoking again, or whatever. Most people will require several revolutions through the stages of change to really achieve new lasting habits. So we could apply this to exercise. Our guy is in the pre-contemplation stage. He's not thinking of changing. Then he goes to the contemplation stage where he's there looking at somebody else exercising, thinking about making a change. In the preparation stage, he's looking to change, trying to figure out what a plan will be. In the action stage, he's starting to carry out the change, and in the maintenance stage, he's maintaining. And if he maintains for long enough, we're going to consider that he started a new life habit. So that is a summary of the stages of change. Okay, so let's see how well you picked all that up. I currently blank, and I do not intend to change in the foreseeable future. Hopefully you said that is pre-contemplation. 2, I currently blank, but I am contemplating change in the next 6 months. That is contemplation. I currently blank regularly, but I intend to change in the next month. That is preparation. I currently blank, but I have done so only within the last 6 months. That is action. I currently blank and have done so for more than 6 months. That is, oh gosh. That's not quite, that didn't quite take you out of the cycle, so that would be maintenance. And then in number 6, your termination, if you've done so for more than 5 years, we're going to say that you've started a new lifestyle. So the techniques of change are not to be confused with the processes of change. So within each process, we apply techniques that apply to that process. So as you think about it, what a counselor would do with someone in pre-contemplation is different than what they would do with someone who's in the preparation stage.